And the beautiful sequence of play. Look at that thing. Are you looking Midway Solitaire? All right, I gotta let that go. We all know I'm unhappy with Midway Solitaire's lack of a Japanese player aid card. I will try to quit mentioning it. Hello and welcome to My Own Worst Enemy. It is unboxing time yet again, and we are looking at today, this is by far my most anticipated game of 2022. This is War for America, the American Revolution, 1775 through 1782. It is from Compass Games, and this is designed by Gilbert Collins. I first learned about this game back in, I want to say it was 2019, a few years back. I subscribed to Gilbert's channel. He has a YouTube channel. And it's a very good channel. If you haven't subscribed to it or checked it out, please do so. It's an awesome channel. Gilbert does a great job with playing through some games, and his explanations are awesome. So I came across this. He was talking about this a few years back, and he was showing his prototype of this game he was designing for Compass Games. And of course, I am American Revolutionary War junkie. It's one of the top, I would say probably top 3 topics that I like to war game on. So I love, you know, American Revolution, Pacific, Civil War. So this was when I saw this, I was like, I cannot wait to get my hands on it. And I, you know, pre-ordered it and everything, and here it is. So I'm finally glad to have this in my grubby little paws. So we will take a look at this and see what's in it. And first we'll flip it over. And I'll just kind of hold it up to the camera here a little bit so everybody can see the back of this. So it is 2 maps, which kind of surprised me a little bit that it would be so large, but that's okay. 3 counter sheets, 8 players aid cards. That sounds very positive. 2 army organization charts and 51 action cards. Now the action, this is not a card-driven game. The cards will provide special events and some other actions that you could potentially take. So it's not a truly card-driven game. Solitaire suitability is high, which is, you know, it's going to be high for me anyway because that's how I'm going to play it. So let's dive in here and take a quick look and see what we've got. Now this is based on, Gilbert says he based this on a book by Piers Maxey called War for America. So that is interesting. Let's put this so we can still admire that beautiful cover. These are the cards, and I will crack into these so that we can take a look at them. I'm going to try to open this without damaging the cards. That would be special. Now, I probably will sleeve these cards. I sleeve most of my cards. The cards that I know I'm going to use a lot, because I don't like it when you have your cards, you don't sleeve them, and then all of a sudden little tail marks appear, what I call them, that you say, oh, this card coming up is the Continental Line Mutiny card because it's got a scratch there that wasn't there before. So I do like to protect these cards. So it's just a standard card deck, and there are some battle cards in here. There are, and like I said, there's special event cards that will be mixed into the standard cards, which the standard cards are more like per year. So for 1776, you would have a number of 1776 cards, and then you'd mix in the special events cards. And that makes for great replayability because you don't know when you're going to pull those special cards. So that is the cards, and we get 2 D6, a black and a white D6. Of course, again, I'll probably be using more thematic dice that I have because I like to do that. A Compass Games catalog, and I'm sure by now this is outdated. Because, yeah, catalog discounts valid until 1/25/22. But don't let that stop you from looking at this thing because, you know, we, Armchair Dragoons, we go through this every holiday season when we get these things and talk about all the wonderful games that Compass has, and they do have a lot of wonderful games. So do check this out. There's some good stuff in here. And watch for their holiday sales because they have some really good deals on those. And here we have a errata sheet. So I was looking at some of the feedback already on Board Game Geek, and there's a lot of errata on this page, but it's nothing really huge. And I think somebody pointed out there was a misspelled word on one of the counters, loyalist or something like that. And while that is annoying, it's not a showstopper for me. And I also will say that Gilbert is is very active on Board Game Geek at the War for America page, and he is answering questions diligently. He's doing a great job of that. So if you have a question about this game, go over there and ask, and I think you'll probably get a response from the designer himself, which is impressive. And here we have a specially wrapped, I guess this is the rule book, and the player's aid, or the scenario guide. Oh, it is the player's aid in there too. So it's wrapped like a Christmas present, which kind of is to me, because like I said, I've been waiting on this one for a while. So let's get these little tabs off. I don't think I will save those. Well, I just ripped one, so I definitely won't be saving it. I don't know why you would. Let's take a look first at the rule book, which is, you know, it's a typical Compass rule book. It's not really glossy paper, but it is that it has almost a. It's not the paper type paper, which wears more quickly than the ones that are glossy, or I don't know what you call this. It's not. It's it has like more like a plasticky feel to it. So I don't know what the proper printing term for that would be. So I'm looking at the table of contents. Looks like there are about 18 pages of rules here. So rules light, which is also good. And what was the time to play this thing? Average time to play is 20 hours or less for the full campaign. So rules light, but it looks like it could be a long game, which that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that. And the rules, you know, it's typical print. It's a lot more words than artwork or you know, like counter information or examples. But nice rule book. Nice rule book. And then we get into the players. Uh-oh. Oh no. I don't think I've ever had this happen before. This is the playbook, yeah. I don't think I've ever had this happen before with a Compass game. So that's kind of a bummer, but I'm not gonna complain about it, and I won't go back to Compass and demand a brand new playbook because it's kind of minor, and I don't plan on selling this game or getting rid of it ever, so I'm just going to live with that. So this is the playbook, and this is the example of play, so that is really nice. And I do like to see that. Yeah, this is great stuff. And then in the back, of course, we have the scenarios. Now, there is a full campaign, which we just saw runs for about 20 hours. And there's also this, the French are in 1778 through 1782, which is a quicker game to play. So that's kind of nice to have as well. And looks like we have the card checklist and place names. All good stuff. All good stuff, except for that tear, but that's okay. And these are the player's aid cards. And actually, before you get to those, there are these force cards, which you can mark your different armies on, so that's good. And the player's aid cards, reinforcement charts by year, kind of cool. Nothing on the back, that's okay. The colonial reinforcement charts, the start positions. The Six Nations card, so we will have the Indian units in here, which will be definitely involved in this, so that's good. And then, of course, the charts and tables. And the beautiful sequence of play. Look at that thing. Are you looking, Midway Solitaire? All right, I gotta let that go. We all know I'm unhappy with Midway Solitaire's lack of a Japanese player aid card. I will try to quit mentioning it. It's just really annoying me because that was such a good game, and not to have that is annoying. And let's see, we're getting down now into the, looks like the maps, I should say. It's one map, but it's, oh, look at the counters. They're all in a nice plastic baggie. And a straw paper. Now this isn't the straw paper. I know what this is because I saw Ardwolf unbox this. This is, the dice are not red and blue. No, they are not. They are, in fact, and I don't know why that's bent and torn. This box must have had a rough ride from wherever it came from. I don't know why it's torn like that. But the dice are black and white. But like I said, I'm going to fix that. I've got some more thematic dice I can use. Let's take a look at let's look at the counters first. Now these counters are, you know, you're wondering why they're in this plastic, and it's rare to see counters come in plastic wrap like this. For me anyway. And if you look, you can see why, because they are so darn loose. They were cut very well, it looks like. So let's take a look inside real quick. I don't want to open this too much because I don't want to have to sweep up a bunch of counters. I will, however, show you some of these counters because they do look nice. Well, let's just pull one out. If they fall out, they just fall out. I'm gonna clip these next anyway, so no big deal. So let's see. These are some Continentals. Let's take a look at those. Like the artwork, they are 1/2-inch counters, it looks like, and they will be easy to clip. Looks like we have some political wheel markers and some other types of the year marker and other types of just generic type markers. I'm going to try, let's see, can I actually lift this up without everything falling out? Probably not. I was going to, well, see, there go the Continentals. I'll show you, I'll show you what I can before they all fall out. Just kind of a quick look at what remains of what we can see. So as you can tell, punching these out will not be an issue. And I'll tell you what, I have had some games, and this is typically what I find if I buy a used game from the 70s. Some of those games are a nightmare to get them off of those counter sheets. They are just so not punched out at all, and you have to get a razor blade or X-Acto knife or a box cutter or something and get those out, and I hate to do that because you run the risk of damaging the counters. So let's take a look now at the map, which is actually 2 maps. Now if I had one complaint about this game, if I could come up with one complaint only, it would be that the game in fact uses 2 maps. I would like to have seen this all on one map sheet, and that's just for space consideration. And I think if you have space for this, this is certainly the better way to go, but I think a majority of people don't have a lot of table space to set these games up. And as a designer, I think if you could keep this to maybe 1 map sheet, you might actually do better as far as cells go, because someone's going to look at this and say, I don't have room to play this because it's too darn big. But so that's about the only thing I could say that the only complaint that I think that I might have with this game. But I'm not going to complain because it is a nice map. Now I think Gilbert said that his son, let's see, we can check this out. I think he said his son created this map, and let's go look at the credits real quick. And if that's the case, then he did a fantastic job because I really do like this map. And I'm looking for the credits. There are playtesters, developers, editing. Yeah, there it is. Original map design is by Matthew Collins. So Gilbert's son Matthew did this, and I think it's definitely a very, very nice looking map. It's thematic and it's nice. So maybe Gilbert's son has another job now and create maps for his dad. Well, I can't get the whole thing on there. We can do the top part first, which will make it challenging for me to when I do a playthrough of this, and I will do a playthrough. It might make it a little more challenging, but that's okay. I have ways around that. So we have the turn track over here, our political will events are over here, and just, the leaders are up here, political markers, action impulses, typical things we would find on a wargame map, except for perhaps this, although you do find stuff like this on wargame maps. This is the From Europe box, and this is kind of cool because you'll have military units that are, in Europe on their way to America to fight in the Revolution, and it's not an instant move. They actually have to travel, so there's travel time from Europe to wherever they're going. So that's really neat. And that travel time, I think you roll a D6 to get, how long is it going to take me to get there? So that could change things, and that's going to increase replayability. And here we can see the southern part of the map. The Caribbean is called out rather large here because, and like I said, I think Gilbert said this was based on the book War for America. And I think one of the things they talk about in that book, and I'm not quite 100% sure, but is that the Caribbean was a very important piece of this war, and it kind of gets looked over or maybe ignored when people talk about the war for the American Revolution. So that's why this is so prominent here. This is going to come into play in this game, and this is going to be an important part of the war. And then, of course, over here we have the southern colonies, and we can just barely see Florida down here, and there's West Florida. So there was a fort in Pensacola. Spanish are down there, so that should be interesting to see. I think, were the Spanish down there in 1775? I believe they were. British transport capacity. So there you go. That's the map. That's the game. That's everything. And like I said, this is the game I was waiting for the most this year. Now, I do have another game coming from GMT. It's the US Civil War, which is probably my second, third, or fourth most anticipated game. And when that comes in, we'll do an unboxing of that as well. But this has been War for America, the American Revolution 1775 to 1782, designed by Gilbert Collins, who has a great YouTube channel. Map designed by his son Matthew Collins, who did a very, very nice job with the map. And that is it. So we will check this out. I will do a playthrough. And if you like what I do, please like this video, subscribe. And if you really want to support the channel, we have a Patreon page. And I will see you back here next time.